What's up, everyone? So, I'm gonna talk about what actually happened in the market this week. Currently, I do have crypto up right now. It's really not that related. I'm gonna pull up the markets. So, that's gonna be SPY and QQQ over here. So, basically, I actually drew a lot of triangles here. I'm gonna delete this right now so it's not distracting. And bear with me, my computer is pretty slow today. So, if I go on a 1 hour chart for SPY, you can see that we basically had a pretty rough week so far, right? We pumped on Monday. Yeah, we pumped on Monday. We had the red day on yesterday. And today we've been pretty choppy because Powell actually testified with Congress. And there was a bunch of uncertainty which, prevented people from actually buying a lot of things. So, same thing for QQQ. This is a 15-minute, but if I go into 1 hour for QQQ, same thing, right? So currently what I see in SPY, so if I actually go on the 1 day chart for SPY, and I scroll out, you can see that from this top over here all the way up here, right? We've been following the same trend line up here. You can see that at the top for SPY on this channel is 446. And do you think we're gonna hit that? I think we are gonna hit 446 on SPY. Until then, there might be some, some not good things that are gonna happen. I do believe that we're gonna have some sort of correction super soon, and most likely it's gonna be by the end of summer. And the only reason I say that is because SPY is pretty overextended, and if I go on the weekly over here, well, let's go look at QQQ. This might be a better example. So for QQQ over here, right? If I go on the 1 week chart, you can see that there is a divergence on the TTM squeeze indicator, right? We've been going down while QQQ has been going up, and that shows you that there is going to start, there's going to start being some sort of correction. Also, something else to keep in mind is that whenever QQQ touches the 70 level, that shows you QQQ usually pulls back a lot. In September, we touched the 70 level. We immediately fell, right? In February, we touched the 70 level. We had a pretty hard correction. And currently, we're touching the 70 level again, once again. So, I am expecting to have a red week for QQQ pretty soon. I do expect the red week to be pretty violent. Maybe not as extreme as the correction, but it's going to happen. It's inevitable. So I do think that it's going to happen. Alright, so that's basically what happened in the market this week. Now I'm going to start looking at your questions. Hey Jerry, can you chart out Roku, please? So let me take a look at Roku. So I actually had Roku up before. So let me pull up a new TradingView page so I can chart each stock separately. So tradingview.com. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull up a piece of paper so I can write down what tickers I need to chart. So Roku's number 1. So, my computer is really slow today. I'm so sorry. So, I don't know why it didn't let me launch the chart. Let me try that one more time. Launch chart. Come on. Come on, TradingView. Okay, okay, so it's launching the chart right now. I have no idea why my computer is this slow today, but apparently it is. So, okay, so this is Roku. Right, so this is really basic. I don't have my EMAs or anything, so okay. Let me just add my indicators real quick. So I have my let's see, my indicator over here, the TTM squeeze. and I have the RSI. Okay. Let me just quickly customize it real quick. I don't know why my trading view didn't you know, update my indicators, but I'm gonna quickly do that right now, so just bear with me for a second. So I'm gonna make these lines a bit thicker so it's easier to see. All right. Okay. So I have Roku over here, and oh, I see Adi in the chat. Hi, Tim. Oh yeah, Tim's name is Adi, but yeah. So basically Roku, right? We had this big correction over here. It's been starting to go back up. And what do we expect now? So currently for Roku, Roku's in this channel. I'll actually go on the 1 hour chart to show you it more up close. Oh my goodness, my trading view is so slow today, but you can see that we've been in this channel for a long time now, right? Roku had hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of resistances. Same thing goes for support, right? So basically we're in this channel right now. This can qualify as a bull flag on a larger time frame. Maybe if I go on a 3 hour chart, you can see that this does qualify as a bull flag. Problem is, Roku's in the middle of the channel right now, so I do expect Roku to possibly touch 400 soon, but there might be other factors that might affect Roku. So exactly, there is another factor that affected Roku, and that is that it actually bounced off the 21 EMA today. So the 21 EMA usually should be a pretty strong support. You can see in the past, Roku does usually bounce off the 21 EMA after a couple of red days. And it bounced off the 21 EMA today. So I do expect Roku to bounce off tomorrow. I do expect a green day for Roku. So that's basically what I think about Roku. On the larger picture for Roku, I do expect, this does look like a cup and handle. And, you know, if I draw out this, you know, pretty big cup over here, you can see that this is the handle. And if we do break out, right, we're gonna have to test the level of $463 before breaking new all-time highs. So so far for Roku, I am pretty hesitant whether or not it's gonna break out or not. It is in the middle of the channel, but it just bounced off the 21 EMA, so it can possibly bounce off and break the channel, but there is a possibility it's gonna retest the channel support at 400, and we can see what's gonna happen there. So that is it for Roku. Can I chart my low swing? Of course. So lows, actually, I kind of called it too early, and I was anticipating that Lowe's was going to follow Home Depot today, but apparently Home Depot had a green day while Lowe's kind of just crapped. So what do I see on Lowe's? Well, number one, I see an inverse head and shoulders. You can see this over here. All right, there's the inverse head and shoulders. It actually looks really nice, and even though Lowe's actually went down today, it is at a place where there's a bunch of EMA lines over here, which is relatively strong support. If I actually pull up my volume bracket, because you can also see that Lowe's is actually at a pretty large volume bracket, which is a pretty big demand zone. And if you don't know what volume brackets are, they're basically just zones of buyers and sellers at a certain price. And you can see that the longer the bar, the higher the demand is, and the also stronger the support or resistance is, depending on if it's above or below the bracket. You can see that there are a couple of long volume brackets over here, and Lowe's is actually closed right on top of one. So I am expecting Lowe's to have a bump pretty soon. It's going to probably bounce, and it's going to probably retest the resistance at 196. And you know, this pattern's still in play. The call expires in a couple of weeks, so I am pretty confident that Roblox is going to gain. But you know, do keep an eye on it. I might average down soon if the time is right. But so far, Roblox does look really good. It's still the pattern's still in play. All right. I do see a bunch of new people in chat. Make sure to like the stream and subscribe to this channel. If you like the stream, it's going to beef up YouTube's algorithm, and it's going to allow more people to see the stream, and that will benefit everyone, because as you may know, the more charts you look at, the more trading ideas you're going to have, and the more money you're going to make from it. So if you guys would like this video, that's going to be much appreciated. And let's continue. So can I check out CRM? So my CRM swing was actually based on dark pool index. Let me see if I can pull that up. So give me 1 second. So I'm gonna have to close out my browser real quick. No, I have to close. I just hide my window real quick because I don't really want you guys to see my email address. But let me see here. So let me just basically summarize why I called out CRM. I called out CRM because there was a giant divergence on dark pool index. If you don't know what dark pool is, it's basically just I can access my dark pool thing right now. So it's gonna have to be later. I can show you it in a picture. But basically, the dark pool index is basically what the big buyers are buying in the stock market. And whenever there's a divergence in the DPI, which is the dark pool index, that basically shows you that dark pool is betting against the direction of the stock right now. So currently for CRM, so I'm gonna actually show you what CRM looks like. So currently for CRM, if I go on the 15-minute chart, and I'm gonna delete these drawings. Currently CRM is going down, obviously, as you can see here. But on the dark pool index, CRM is actually going up. So dark pool is actually buying CRM, and they're actually betting that CRM is going to go up while CRM is continuing to go down. So that's why I'm bullish on CRM, and the reason is because dark pool is actually buying CRM right now. They're betting that CRM is going to go up. And usually 99% of the time dark pool is correct because you're not going to be voluntarily losing millions of dollars. So that's why I bought CRM. Can I check out RH? I can check out RH. Ooh, okay, so this is a pretty gappy stock as it looks. So for RH, I do see a resistance zone. I'm actually going to use a rectangle and zone it out. So there is a selling zone up here. Right up here. So I do see a level of selling resistance over here. Now there is a line support over here. Right, so we actually just closed that support today for RH. On the larger picture, this does look like an ascending triangle. And one thing to keep in mind is that there is a pretty big volume bar over here, which is going to be a level of resistance. So keep that in mind. And the 9 EMA is perfectly at the volume bar. So I do think RH is going to retest the 9 EMA tomorrow. It's at support right now. It's about to be it's about to bounce up. If it doesn't, then this whole pattern is invalidated unless it reclaims it. But RH on the larger picture does have an ascending triangle, and I do expect it to break out by July 26th if everything goes well till the days leading up to it. Can I look at NEO? And you shorted NEO. So actually, I think Tim Apple was actually debating whether to short NEO today. So basically, on a couple of streams back, I did say NEO had an ascending broadening wedge, and it was a bearish pattern. Sure enough, NEO broke out of it, and it broke down to the downside, obviously. So it's bearish right now. But currently, NEO is at its 100-day EMA, which is pretty bullish because the 100 EMA is a pretty significant EMA line. Also, this does qualify as a double bottom, so technically NEO did double bottom today. You can also see that there are a couple of volume brackets below NEO right now, so NEO is in a pretty big area of demand right now. So I do see NEO bouncing sometime soon. It might have a dead cap bounce tomorrow. It might retest the 50 EMA tomorrow, but I do expect NEO to go back up to the $46 range to the 9 EMA just to retest it. But also keep in mind that the 9 EMA looks like it is just about to cross the 21 EMA, which is pretty bearish. It shows you that downtrend is about to form. So I definitely would keep an eye on that. If I go into slightly smaller time frame, so I'm going to actually clear all my drawings. And I'm going to go on the 3-hour time frame. So on the 3-hour time frame, you can see that there is a slight falling wedge forming. right? If I ignore this outlier over here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then I go from the top over here, go all the way down. So roughly, this is roughly resistance. Maybe if I extend the line out here, so you can see that there is a falling wedge forming, which is bullish for NEO. So depending on where this plays out, you can see that we did have a pretty violent drop here today, but we did end up bouncing. And I do expect NEO to probably retest $44 before probably going back down and continuing to play out this falling wedge. But you know, I'll say by like July 19th, I do expect NEO to break out this falling wedge, which is going to break out to the upside, and it's going to be bullish. And also, I'm going to change these volume bars to a histogram because the columns are annoying me. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I see on NEO. Can I look at lows? I already did. If also, yeah, if I already did a chart that you guys are asking, you guys feel free can scroll back into the stream, and I'm gonna save some time here and go over charts I actually haven't charted. All right, Clove. Okay, so I'm just reading the chat right now. Who is Tim Apple? Tim Apple was the person that I was with a couple of streams ago. I think last stream he was joining me. So yeah, Tim Apple is another analyst in our servers. So he's also a mod on the stream. So don't misbehave. Tim can time you out. But yeah, I'll try out Clove right now. So I actually haven't looked at Clove in a while. It is a Wall Street bet stock, and looks like it has gone back to the $80. Not the $80, the $8 range. So on the daily, ooh, okay, so there's a pretty obvious line of support on the daily over here. It looks like it is around the demand zone over here, so I can expect a bounce on a Clove. If I do roughly chart out resistance, you can see that this is kind of a falling wedge actually on Clove. I actually like this a lot, so let me write this down actually for my reference. Clove. I actually like this a lot. On the daily, if I go on the 4 hour, maybe that might provide me a few more details. Yeah, so it's roughly a line of support. There's a line of resistance up here. So there is a falling wedge for Clove. The breakout, I do expect it to retest these EMA lines up at $10. So I do expect Clove to go up to around $9, $10 to retest the EMA lines. You can also see that Clove is in the overbought territory on the 4 hour chart, and it is basically in the area of demand right now. So I do expect Clove to have a reversal and possibly pump for a couple of hours, maybe a day or two before, you know, before dying back down again, because after all, this is a Wall Street bet stocks, and Wall Street bet stocks have been losing momentum. All right, next stock is going to be Roblox. So I was actually looking at this earlier. So for Roblox, there was a symmetrical triangle over here. If you don't know what symmetrical triangle is, they're bearish triangles. They're bearish patterns. If you go on the daily, they're bearish patterns. And Roblox ended up breaking out of this symmetrical triangle to the downside. And if I actually chart out the supports correctly, right, Roblox actually broke to the downside today of this symmetrical triangle. And how far do I think it's going to break down to? Well, currently it is around this area where there's really not that much demand. So I do think that Roblox might drop down to $77 tomorrow to this giant area of demand zone. So you can see that Roblox can possibly double bottom around that area, right? If I draw historical supports and resistances, right? This has been a historical support and resistance, right? Over here. Yeah, you can probably imagine that Roblox is going to probably bounce around here, right? It has bounced here once. It has historically been resistance, but now it's turned into support. Also, there's a lot of demand with this volume bracket being out here. So I do expect Roblox to bounce around $77. Definitely has more room to go down, but I do see a reversal of Roblox, or a bounce of Roblox pretty soon. Can I check out Zoom? Okay, I'll check out Zoom real quick. Okay, so wow. Okay, so for Zoom, we had a pretty violent day today, and that is interesting. So for Zoom, we are approaching these lines of EMAs again, so I do expect a bounce for Zoom pretty soon. Looks like we did retest the 9 EMA and completely rejected. I do expect this to be like Home Depot, where it's probably going to drop a few more days, possibly to the 136 level, where there is a pretty strong, not 136, 336 zone, where there is a pretty, you know, big support level. If I actually plot out a zone for support, you can see that Zoom is approaching this level of demand over here. And if I stretch this all the way out, you can see that this is perfectly touching the volume brackets where there is going to be strong demand. So I do expect Zoom to probably fall a bit more before, you know, retesting the 100 EMA, the 150, and the 200 EMA in this line, this demand zone. So I do expect Zoom to bounce soon. Depending on how soon, that is debatable. It can bounce right here at 359 and go right back up to 379 to the 9 EMA. Or it can continue to go down, possibly, most likely retest the 200 EMA at 344 and then go back up. But yeah, I do expect Zoom to bounce pretty soon in this line, this area of demand over here. All right, I'm going to check out Walmart now. So Walmart actually had an inverse head and shoulders, I think. Let me check that back. Okay, yeah, it did. Oh wow, Walmart is just testing the resistance line for the inverse head and shoulders. So if I chart out the inverse head and shoulders, so this is the left shoulder, here's the head, here's the right shoulder. You can see that around this area is Walmart's supplying this resistance zone over here, right? And for me to be bullish on Roblox breaking out, it will have to be breaking 142, which is basically another line of selling or line of resistance where a lot of people want to sell Walmart. So once it breaks this 142 level, 142.3, that's when I'm pretty bullish that this inverse head and shoulders is going to break out. Until then, I'm going to wait for confirmation. Possibly Walmart might test this area of resistance and possibly double top and reject again, possibly completely invalidating this play. So for the most important thing to do right now is to watch and see if Walmart's actually going to break it, or if it's just going to, you know, reject it and just completely invalidate. So I do suggest you to wait for confirmation. Be patient. Wait for this pattern to actually start breaking out before playing. Keep in mind, this is a pretty big pattern, so it's not going to only take 1 hour for this pattern to play out. It's going to be a couple of green candles, not only one. So just keep that in mind. I heard a rumor that Tim Apple charts are the best. Not all rumors are true. Let me just emphasize that not all rumors are true, and that is highly debatable. That is highly debatable. But as I said, as I keep saying, as long as I don't care what kind of chart you have, as long as it makes you money, that's all I care about. Okay, I don't really care what kind of chart you have, as long as the chart makes you money and you know you're profiting. I don't really care how ugly your charts are. Next is TWLO. So I was actually looking at TWLO this morning, right? So this morning I actually had it as an inverse head and shoulders. Clearly that didn't play out, and it went all the way down here. There is an area of you know, selling over here. You can see that TWLO broke through all these lines of demand zones, you know, because of the market sell-off today, and it is approaching this area of, you know, not much demand over here, but it seems like we did bounce off this last volume bracket. And if you look, so let me clear all this up. You can see that on the hourly, we are approaching this oversold zone. Historically, for TWLO, this area has been an area of demand. If I actually adjust this properly, so from over here to over here. This area has been an area of demand, and you can see that for TWLO over here, we just bounced off the bottom over here for the area of demand. So I do expect TWLO to possibly retest a 9 EMA at $380 to see whether or not if it's in a downtrend. If it breaks it, then we're out of this downtrend. If it rejects, then it just confirms that we're in this downtrend again. But if you also go on the daily time frame for TWLO, you can see that we did close right below the 21 EMA, which is not good news. It means that we can possibly retest a 21 EMA and reject, or we break it and reclaim it. So it goes either ways. Also, if you look at TWLO, right below it on the daily are levels of demand, right? There's a pretty big bracket at 369, 365. So I do see a possible bottom happening for TWLO. And do remember, we are in the demand zone, so we can possibly consolidate down here and go lower, or we can consolidate over here and go higher. So we're gonna have to see where TWLO goes tomorrow, but currently it is in a pretty fragile state where it can either break support and go down even further, or it can have a bounce back up. Ford chart. Let me take a look at Ford. So for Ford, I actually drew out this line of resistance over here. You can also kind of draw out support. So we are in this channel for Ford currently. You can see on the daily chart that this area is a pretty empty area, and I do expect Ford to probably drop all the way down here to support again at $13.50. But there is a 50 EMA over here. So I do expect Ford to touch $14.11 tomorrow, or pretty soon, to test that 50 EMA. We can possibly also form another pattern, and you can see that over here. If I draw out support over here, you can see that there's also a descending triangle. So Ford can possibly consolidate in this area over here and break to the upside, or we completely break through the support over here and break down to the channel support. So either way, we're gonna have to see what Ford does tomorrow. If it bounces off this level and goes up, then this descending triangle is proven to be a correct pattern. If we completely break through it and validate the ascending triangle, not the ascending triangle, the descending triangle, then I would assume that Ford is going to go down to the channel support, which is below, down at $13.50. So we're going to have to see what Ford is going to do tomorrow. I do see a ton of new people in chat. Make sure to like the stream so that more people can see the stream. It's going to beef up the YouTube algorithm. And I also appreciate all the support in the chat and in every place where you guys show up to the stream. So I truly appreciate that. And if you guys like this stream, more people will ask questions about charts. And when more people ask questions about charts, I'm going to be charting more charts, and it's going to give you more trading ideas. So definitely please like this video, this stream. So next stock is going to be Nike. So I'm going to chart on Nike real quick. So me and Tim were actually charting this out earlier. Tim said that he saw an ascending triangle. I, on the other hand, I saw a rising wedge, but also I drew this out a couple of days ago. And this is a ascending broadening wedge, which is a bearish pattern. I showed Neo earlier, which it actually broke out from. I can see Nike doing the same. I can see Nike breaking out of this pattern and filling the earnings gap it had. But if I remove the lines over here and I draw out a new set of support lines, resistance lines, which is slightly ascending up here, and then I draw a line of support down here, which has 3 points over here, you can see that this is a possible rising wedge over here, which is also bearish. But also, if you want to stay positive and be bullish, if I flatten this line out over here and bring it down a little bit, you can see that these 3 points did reject this solid price point over here, which forms an ascending triangle, which is bullish. So depending on what you see, that's basically what I see in Nike. I do think that we should wait for confirmation. It does look like breakout for Nike is tomorrow, regardless what pattern we see. So I do expect a breakout tomorrow, either to the downside or to the upside. Do keep in mind that Nike does have a pretty big weight in the Dow, so if Nike does break down, the Dow probably won't be looking as good. Also, there are a couple of other earnings tomorrow, so those bank earnings can also affect the Dow and the market as a whole. So I do expect Nike to make a pretty big movement tomorrow. To the upside, to the downside, that's we're gonna have to wait for confirmation. Can I analyze LMT? Am I reading that correctly? Yeah, LMT. I have never heard of this company before. I'm gonna give a quick, let me see. So I'm not really familiar with the stock, so I don't know its trends, but what I do see is consolidation up here, right? There's consolidation up here, and then there's support down here. So I do expect this to keep bouncing around and possibly break to the upside, kind of like an Amazon style where it has been in consolidation for a solid year before breaking out. I do expect this to keep bouncing around and break out. But other than that, I can't really tell you anything because I'm not familiar with the stock. I'm not familiar with the trends the stock has. So let me see here. Next stock is going to be Dell. Okay, so I actually had this rising wedge for Dell a couple of days ago, and looks like we just broke out a couple of days ago, actually. So now what's next? Where's Dell gonna bounce? Not Dell. Where's Dell gonna bounce? So currently Dell is hugging the 100-day EMA, which I assume it should hold because the last time Dell actually touched the 100 EMA, it actually touched the 150 EMA, was November 2020, and yeah, so we haven't actually gone to this level in a while. We did close below the 100 EMA today, which is not good news for Dell. I do expect us to retest the 100 EMA tomorrow and possibly go down or go up, depending on whether or not we hold. If we don't hold the 100 EMA, I do have a couple of other prices where we can look at where it can possibly be a line of supports. One is over here, all the way down here. One is over here. So I do expect if Dell does reject the 100 EMA tomorrow, which it might, there's always a possibility, especially with this low demand over here. You can see Dell going down to $91, where it's starting to approach this demand zone. Also, last time Dell did crash, you can see that it touched the 150 EMA. We can possibly see that happen again, touching the 150 EMA at $89. But Dell is bearish for now because it did break out this bearish pattern. Alright, and the next stock is going to be Tesla. So for Tesla, I drew this pretty ugly chart, so I'm going to readjust. We did test the resistance we had ever since February, and we did hard reject it, and there is support over here. So Tesla is forming this symmetrical triangle, which is a neutral pattern. Where do I expect this to break out from? Well, Tesla does have a couple of resistances to break. Number one, the triangle resistance at 665. Number two, there's this giant bracket over here on the daily, which is a pretty strong resistance around $670, $680. So we're gonna have to break this for me to be bullish on Tesla. But if we do go down, there is this giant bracket of support over here, this demand zone around $620, which is conveniently around the 150 EMA on the daily. So if Tesla does break to the downside, I would expect Tesla to test the 150 EMA, possibly even lower to the 200 EMA around 596. So we might go back into the 500s again. If we do break to the upside and we manage to break through this giant resistance level, I do expect Tesla to test around the, let me see here, there is a resistance, so test around the 714 level, possibly going higher to the 771 level and back to $800. So it really depends on the next few days for Tesla. I do expect a breakout on July 20th, which is a week from now. So until then, Tesla's gonna have pretty slow movement. Maybe it's gonna make like $15 moves, and at the most. but I do expect consolidation for Tesla coming pretty soon. And unless we break out earlier, I do expect Tesla to kind of, just stay in this general range of around $672 and 600, so around this $30 range, this $20 to $30 range Tesla has currently. So that's what I see in Tesla. CLNE. So I'm pretty sure this is a Wall Street bet stock. So similarly to Clove, it is dying right now. Yep, it is dying. Okay, so I actually charted out this resistance over here a long time ago. I honestly don't see any pattern on CLNE right now. We are in this line of demand over here. You see this giant line of demand over here. So I do expect a bounce on CLNE. Other than that, I don't see anything else. I do expect to retest the 200 EMA around, is that $8.91. So possibly we can go back up $1, but that's about it. Next is going to be Amazon. So as I said before, Amazon did break out this giant line of consolidation we had for over a year. We finally broke out, and now, we're kind of consolidating a little bit. And Amazon just retested the 9 EMA today, and we did bounce right off of it, which is bullish. You can see that Amazon did have trouble breaking this resistance level of this volume bracket. So around the area of this over here, right? And looks like we just retested. So I do expect Amazon to consolidate a bit more up here. If we do manage to break this support, there is a pretty empty space over here. So I do expect Amazon to go back to drop like $180 to a downside, possibly filling this gap over here. But for now, I do expect Amazon to consolidate. We bounced off support over here, and I do expect Amazon to go up and down, up and down, up and down. So if I go on a smaller time frame, yeah, so this can possibly be a rounded top, which in that case Amazon's most likely going to go back down and fill this gap around 3,510. But currently Amazon is at this line of demand, and if it can break the level of 3,711 and hold above it, I do expect Amazon to head higher. Lulu. Let's take a look at Lululemon. Oh wow, okay. Number one, what I see on Lulu, this daily candle looks really bearish. I forgot what this candlestick's called. I think it's called a shooting star. I think that's what the candlestick is called. And it's basically a bearish pattern, a bearish reversal pattern. And looks like we just ended off there today. I do expect Lululemon to fill the gap, going back down to 370, and bouncing off the volume bracket over here. But I do expect Lululemon to fill this gap pretty soon, test the 9 EMA. And the shooting star pattern for Lululemon does look pretty ugly, so I do expect this to go down. How do you find your day trades? I find my day trades based on stocks that gap up, gap down in the general trend. I usually day trade on patterns, on trends the stock has been in for the day. If a stock's choppy, I most likely won't chart it or play it. If a stock is in a consistent trend, that's when I'm going to play it. So I like my day trades to be as risk-free as possible, as safe as possible, and the only way for me to do that is to look for patterns and confirmation, and look for a stock that isn't really choppy and has a developed trend that has formed within the day. So that's how I find my day trades. Can I chart out EDU? I can. So EDU, ooh, okay, so EDU has had quite a fall, and it looks like it's approaching this last volume bar. So I do expect EDU to bounce off from here. I apologize for my trading view, it's really slow. And also I do see a bullish divergence on EDU on my TTM squeeze. You can see that for EDU, right? The bears are starting to lose momentum over here. So you can see over here, as bearish momentum dies, we still continue to go down. And also you can kind of see a falling wedge over here, right? If I plot out my support lines over here, and I plot out my resistance lines over here, you can actually see a falling wedge forming. So I am actually pretty bullish on EDU. I do think we might make a last leg downwards to around $5.76 before breaking out this falling wedge around July 27th. I do think we're going to break up. This does look pretty bullish. But it looks like we still have a few more days to go down, and then we can finally break to the upside. Okay. Oh, I see that Tim Apple's back in the chat. And my pen just died. Hold on one second. My pen just ran out of ink for somehow. Okay, next stock is going to be, okay, what kind of professional training you recommend to learn technical analysis? I don't actually do any professional training. I actually learned all of this by myself from YouTube videos, from online, from, you know, just basically it's self-learning, right? Just like trial and error, right? I did lose money when I started learning, and it's normal. So I do expect, I don't really think there's any professional training that you should do. I think it's more of practice, trial and error, and all that stuff. So if you can, if you do know my Discord is !J3RRY. You can DM me on my Discord. I can give you some good resources to help your technical analysis, to help your trading. And, you know, you can always request a one-on-one session with me, but I can give you resources if you don't need one-on-one. So you can always DM me. My DMs are always open. All right. Oh, wow. I see people saying Tim's charts look better. That is not true. That is not true. This is a one-sided opinion, and that's a one-sided opinion. That's not true. All right. Next stock is going to be Apple. And looking at Apple, and wow, Apple just, you know, completely just blowing away the market. And the reason the down SPY have been going up is mainly because of Apple, because Apple does have a significant weight. Apple is actually pretty far from the 9 EMA. The 9 EMA is down $6. I do expect Apple to go back down to 143 to retest the 9 EMA. And that is also a place where, actually no, that's not a place where there's a lot of demand. That's actually pretty far down. So I do expect Apple to retest the 9 EMA pretty soon. It can't really stay up there for any longer because Apple had literally 13 straight green days. You can see that on the hourly, Apple does have this established line of resistance. And if you look at support over here, you can see a rising wedge forming for Apple. So I do expect Apple to be red tomorrow, mainly because there is a rising wedge, and rising wedges are bearish. I do expect Apple to go down to $145 to test this level of demand over here. And that's perfectly along the 50 EMA on the 1 hour. So I do expect Apple to go down tomorrow. How far down, that is just set to, you know, we will just have to see, you know. Jerry is wearing like 7 hats right now. Too much cap, Jerry. I feel like that account is one of Tim Apple's alt accounts. I really feel like that's one of his alternate accounts, which is pretty smart if you want to make me look bad. Okay. Okay. Next stock is going to be DocuSign. So for DocuSign, really nothing much happening on the hourly chart. If I go on the daily chart, DocuSign did fall and bounce off the 21 EMA today, which is good news for DocuSign. I think we're gonna retest the 9 EMA pretty soon, around $282. Depending on whether or not we break it or we reject it, that I guess that's gonna happen once we do retest it. It looks like DocuSign did break out of a falling wedge, rising wedge just a couple of days ago. You can see that this is resistance and support is over here. I'm actually gonna chart out support right here. So this was a pretty beautiful falling wedge, not a falling wedge, a rising wedge, which is bearish. And yeah, it's going down. Oh, Brian's is an actual person. All right, well, I appreciate it, Brian. I really thought that was Tim Apple's alternate accounts because Tim Apple's charts are just not as good. So, you know, I apologize. Tim is just doing better than you, but you're still doing good. Tim, you're actually commenting this off of your mod account, so I actually don't know if Brian's a real person or not. I'm assuming Brian's a real person. Brian, we love you. You're a real person. You're not an alt. Okay. Next stock is going to be Tilray. I didn't click the NASDAQ, did I? There we go, NASDAQ. So Tilray, I actually had this chart out a long time ago and it looks like it invalidated. So I'm going to delete all my drawings over here and chart this from scratch. Looks like we do have a line of support over here. And if I extend this line, draw a line of resistance, I'll say from here and then we go down. You can see that there is a falling wedge on Tilray. Looks like we just closed our support today. So I do expect Tilray to go up tomorrow, but there's always a chance for Tilray to invalidate its play. But I do expect Tilray to go up tomorrow, depending on how much up. That depends. I do expect that's gonna see the $16.30 range pretty soon, but it's gonna keep going down because the falling wedge does have more downside. And I think around like July 30th, July 29th, near the end of the day, near the end of the month, near August, I do expect Tilray to break to the upside because the falling wedge pattern is bullish. iRobot. So I see iRobot, OSTK, Intel. Those are the last three stocks I'm going to chart. Okay, so for iRobot, so I do see descending lines of resistance over here. And I see supports over here. So this can also qualify as a falling wedge, I think. Breakouts around July 22nd. This looks like a pretty good falling wedge to me. Keep in mind there's earnings around that breakout, so I do expect the earnings run up, I guess, with the breakout of a falling wedge. And my target price for it is around $93.20 because that's where a big resistance is. I don't expect iRobot to break out that much, but it depends on what earnings does to it. It may gap up a lot or it may gap down a lot. So okay, I'm gonna see Intel. So Intel, I actually have a symmetrical triangle drawn out for it. Looks like we just rejected resistance today, so we're just bouncing around on it. We're in this pretty big demand zone right now, so we're just consolidating over here, possibly breaking to the upside, possibly breaking to the downside. Keep in mind that Intel still has this gap to fill up here, and Intel is usually pretty good at filling gaps, so we're just going to see what Intel's going to do. But as it does have earnings on July 22nd, which is just around where this is going to break out, so we're just going to have to see what Intel's going to do. But a symmetrical triangle is a neutral pattern, so the most important thing over here is to wait for confirmation, right? Because it's a 50-50 basically. You don't really want to play the wrong side. And OSTK. So for OSTK, I also drew this giant symmetrical triangle. It looks like we just rejected that 2 days ago, and we had a pretty violent day today. So we actually just hit the 50-day EMA. This is usually a pretty reliable EMA since we bounced off this the last 3 times. So I do expect a bounce back tomorrow, possibly a what's it called, a dead cat bounce. possibly to retest the 9 EMA up here around $91.95. But if it does decide to keep dipping, I do expect it to go around this demand zone over here, around the first bracket of the demand zone, around the area of $78. So I do expect this to bounce tomorrow, but if it doesn't, I do expect it to fall around to $82, $78, that range. So that's gonna conclude my stream for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you found new charting setups that you're gonna use in the future. I'm gonna most likely have another stream later this week. If you did enjoy this stream, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can access more of my streams and more of my videos I'm gonna do in the future. Make sure to like the stream and make sure that join me next time. Ask me a few more charting tickers, because you guys make this possible. You guys make the stream possible. So I want to thank everyone that showed up